say C.
All right, so I say A. That's what I say.
That's what I thought.
All right, so we've got a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio, because in the question, all they're asking us is how much of my NO can be formed. Okay, so they give me 10 moles of powdered silver, so I've got a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio, and I've got 0.10 moles of silver. And then they give me 10 milliliters of 6 molar nitric acid. So to get to moles, I just do molarity times liters, which would give me 10 times 6 would be 60 millimoles. But since this is in moles, I need them both to be in the same thing, right? So I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3 and make that 0.060 moles of nitric acid. Now looking at that, can you now tell which one is your limiting reactant? The nitric acid, right? Because normally we would say you have to get them both down to a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Before you can tell. But 0.10 is bigger than 0.06, and I'm only going to divide this one by 3, whereas I would divide that one by 4. So obviously my nitric acid. So so that means I can only form as much as my limiting reactant. So since this is a 4 to 1 ratio, how do I figure out how many moles of NO will form? Take this number and do what? Divide by 4, right? Because I've got 4 here, I've only got 1 there. So for my mole to mole ratio, I've got to divide this by 4 to get one of them, right? Okay. What's 60 divided by 4? 15. Because 60 divided by 2 is 30, and if I divide that again, I get 15. So it's 0.0150 moles. Okay. You see it? You got it? No. All right, the next one, if you don't get it, I get very, very angry at you on these. They give me an equilibrium constant, which is just what? K, of 3.7 times 10 to the 15th. So this means K is much, much, much greater than 1. So what's the E naught and the delta G going to be?
E naught is positive, delta G is negative.
You got to know those favorable conditions, right? I'll do them one more time. Favorable conditions. K is greater than 1. E naught is positive. Delta G is negative. Okay. So unfavorable would just be the exact opposite. All right. We'll do this multiple choice question and we'll call it a day here. We'll do the free response tomorrow. Okay. All right, what is the standard heat of formation of methane, CH4, as calculated from the data above? They asked me for the delta H of formation. What forms? Products or reactants? Products. So that means delta H is going to be equal to the sum of delta H of formation of the products minus the sum of delta H of formation of the reactants. Now, if they would have given me bond energy, okay, bond energy is how much energy it takes to break a bond, okay? Which bonds do we break, reactants or products? Reactants. So if they give me bond energy, then I say delta H is equal to the sum of delta H of the bond energy of the reactants minus the sum of delta H of the bond energy of the products. Do you see why we do the opposite on those? Okay. They gave us delta H of formation, so I'm going to work with products minus reactants. This is Big Mama. Right? It's okay. All right, so they told me delta H of the reaction was negative 889.1 kilojoules per mole. Okay. So this is equal to the sum of delta H of the product. So what's CO2's delta H? Negative 393.3 plus, what do I have to do to the water? Multiply it by 2, because there's 2 of them. Minus, why did they not give me a delta H for oxygen?
You don't use
It's a pure element. It's not bonded to anything besides itself, right? And it's also in its natural state. Is oxygen naturally a gas? Yes. So its delta H of formation is 0. So we don't worry about it. Okay? And we're trying to find CH4, so minus X. So we're solving for X. So we'll just start working through and solving. Negative 889.1 is equal to negative 393.3 plus 2 times negative 8, so times 2. 2 times 8 is 16, carry your 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11, carry your 1. 2 times 8 is, plus 1 is 17, carry your 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Minus X. Negative 889.1 is equal to 6 plus 3 is 9. 1 plus 3 is 7 plus 9 is, carry your 1. 5 plus 3 is, plus 1 is 9, and that's negative minus X. So now what am I going to do? Add 964.9, right? Yes? Okay, got that? So that would be the same thing as saying 964.9 minus 889.1. 9 minus 1 is 4 minus 9. I can't do. I make that a 5. 14 minus 9 is 5. Can't do that. 15 minus 8 is 7. So we get 75.8 is equal to negative X. Can I leave a variable as a negative? Nope. So now I say X is equal to negative 75.8. So the answer is C. They don't put very many like these on multiple choice because it takes you too long to answer. So what I would do, if you know you're going to have to do this, skip it, but put it like a star beside it because you know you can do it. Does that make sense? And come back and do it. All right. Have a great day.